flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. The first thing we're going to do is we have open public forum. And is anyone here who'd like to speak? Pete, come on up. We get 2 minutes, so.
Okay, yeah, this isn't gonna take 2 minutes. You know, I prepared a packet for the board.
Actually, I think we've received
Yep,
them.
I
Oh, you did
just-
already?
yep.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Sorry, I meant to get back to you and I forgot.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, I've prepared a packet, because, you know, I'm concerned about sex offenders in the community, especially with, you see everything that's going on with the Minnesota Security Hospital and the limbo that's going on, and coming to the realization that as they start provisionally releasing these people, they're going to be putting these people somewhere, they're going to be able to commute daily or every 2-3 times a week or whatever for treatment, which means there's going to be communities like us that are going to be seeing these dangerous people here. And we don't have 24/7 police coverage. You know, it's just a fact of life. So I really think we should try to look forward and try to do things that, try making things a little bit safer. Okay, I'm going to move on. This proposed ordinance is motivated by 3 factors. Number 1, protecting the health and safety of children from sex offenders, particularly those considered most likely to reoffend. 2, that this ordinance isn't going to be constitutional. And 3, that other cities and governmental entities have already passed such ordinances. I'm not asking for a blanket sex offender ordinance, because I don't want to have something where you have statutory rape high school thing, and, because of that, having somebody have to move out. We're not looking for something like that, just level 3 offenders, the ones that are the most, as Don can tell you, the ones that are, the state deems are the most dangerous and the most likely to reoffend. And then obviously there should be some exceptions, such as, if for some reason the state grants a risk level reduction, because if the state says, okay, for some reason you're not a level 3, you're now a level 2, it also shouldn't be considered. Also, if for some reason the ordinance would prevent them from all going back to a home that they had already owned before the offense, and that's just because of the whole constitutional thing of depriving them of their property. But besides that, I really would like to see if we could possibly do something.
Thank you very much, Pete.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, we're going to move forward with the approval of the agenda. Don, do you have anything?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. My request is that we remove from new business D, the Melissa Holmquist order, and instead, at the end of the meeting, we go into closed session to discuss the purchase of real property at 415 North Hennepin.
Okay, we will do that. Lyle?
Nothing.
Pete, is there anything? Julie?
Do we have anything coming up about, I know we've talked about clean up the city, and I know in the past, the council's done sort of a drive around town to look at the state of properties. Have we talked about
Karen and I
that?
are talking about it this
Okay.
week. So if you have if there's any properties that you want us to make sure and look at, let us know, or send me an email or whatever. Because we're going to go, and Gordy, I invited Gordy along too, so.
Is that sufficient, or is it something that you wanted to come with?
I probably don't need to be part of all of it. Sometimes I find that, I've lived here for 25 years, but, there are still, somebody will say, oh, well, yeah, so-and-so's place, and I think, which one is that? Which part of town are we talking about? I don't know. Do you think it would be worth it to have the council look at some of those together, or maybe once some problems have been identified? I don't have really strong feelings one way or the other, but it's something that I would like to see some action taken, so.
We have done a drive around before.
That has been done in the past, yeah. But
You
it's
could call a
also,
special meeting, and they used to rent a
but
bus
it's
and have a
also
special
her
meeting.
job, and the one time I went along on the bus, she'd already covered any of the properties before we got there.
Right.
And
I guess-
I have a list started, if you want
I did look at the list, and the ones that I had concerned with,
On the list.
And Karen's usually pretty good
Karen?
about taking pictures. Oh, sorry, Karen.
Mr. Mayor, I will address that in my report. We have
Okay.
over 57 ordinance violations this month. We started on that, and we will be talking further this week. I'm certainly open to collaboration. We cut out the bus simply because we didn't feel we needed the expense.
That sounds
But if the
reasonable.
council feels that that is in the best interest, I'm more than welcome collaboration.
I think I'm good. That'll work.
All right.
Maybe I'll
We'll
take
talk
a-
about it a little later.
Sure,
for-
stop in and
My-
I
yeah.
can update you on where we're at too.
All right. Dale, did you have anything?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and
Nope.
Jenny, you're good? All right, I'll entertain a motion for to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Dale,
Second.
seconded by Julie. Is there any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consent agenda. Did everybody get a chance to take a look at the minutes from last meeting, the claims for the month, Zach's resignation letter?
Cry.
And first quarter expense report?
Any questions on any of that?
Okay, too.
Is
Melissa put
uh,
that together.
There was that thing way at the end.
The expense report?
No, it looked like, let me find it here. There was something, oh, yeah, said capital improvement planning thing.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's
yeah.
on the agenda yet.
Okay, I didn't quite understand.
That's not on the consent.
I saw what the list was, but I didn't understand.
Oh, okay, I'll go over that with you a little bit
Okay.
when we get to that.
All right, excuse me. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Pete,
Second.
seconded by Lyle. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. No public hearings this month. New business, hire utility billing clerk receptionist. Jenny, you want to
Well,
talk about that?
we had 16 applicants. We interviewed 14, and the committee, after much deliberation, would like to offer the job to Matthew Schuth, who is the temp employee that we've had working here for since January, so. And I did ask him if he'd be willing to take it, and he would, for $13 an hour. And he can start tomorrow.
Do we have to train him?
No, we don't have to train him either. Melissa's very happy about that.
We interviewed a number of people, and it was
yeah.
a very difficult decision.
We had, yes, a number of qualified candidates for the position.
We did. It was, I mean, it was long and there were a lot of interviews, but it was a pleasure. because
fun.
they were,
Yes.
People who were invested in Winthrop and
Yes.
qualified, so it was good.
You were going to say something, Julie?
I was going to move that we approve the hiring.
A motion made by Julie to approve the hire,
Second.
a second by Dale. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, sale of 307 Cedar Circle.
Missed one.
Approve advertising for police officer. I'm sorry.
Karen would like to post
Karen?
it in-house.
Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
No, other than I'm very, very sad.
Okay,
Zach is leaving us. But that, I think that goes without saying. But we do have some in-house candidates,
All right.
Mr. Mayor, and I would like the permission to post in-house initially.
all right. Okay, do we need a motion on that? I believe we do.
So moved.
Motion made by Dale,
Second.
seconded by Pete, to go ahead and approve advertising for a police officer. Is there any further discussion?
Can we amend that to advertising in-house and then going beyond that if
Yeah.
you need to?
Yeah.
Because I
If you
don't
need
want
to.
her to have to wait
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
the next meeting if something
So
would not
moved with
work out.
addition, yeah.
Okay, so the amended,
So moved.
to go ahead and advertise in-house and then also approval if you need to advertise somewhere else after that. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we'll go to the sale of 307 Cedar Circle.
I emailed out the resolution earlier today, and there is a copy there if anybody has questions. Don put it
Where
together.
is 307?
The one next to Bob Treblehorn's house, on 157.
Out on the East
Down
Edition.
by where you live, one of those
It's the
lots.
second cul-de-sac. It'd
Okay.
be the northeast corner of that second cul-de-sac.
If the resolution is approved, then I will do up the deed and sign over title over to them. Once, of course, we get paid our dollar. and
Plus
Plus
assessments.
assessment.
Plus assessments, yeah. Okay,
It's,
go ahead.
it's Cedar Circle, it's not the same one that my in-laws.
Oh, that's,
run.
that's right, it's
It's the,
the first one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, we're letting.
By Lake Rock.
By Lake
that area?
Rock.
yeah, that's,
It'll be that
not
one
that
there,
it
yeah.
matters, but
That was right, no.
I was just thinking, I don't think.
Because she
she's
came
on
over and
Cedar.
showed me the map, and I forget, yeah,
Okay. All right. Is there any further discussion on
got
that?
some new neighbors up there.
I'll entertain a motion to go ahead and approve this.
So move.
Motion made by Lyle,
Second.
seconded by Dale. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Melissa Holmquist has been moved to closed session. Update committee appointment policy. And I wanted that updated because it wasn't very clear. Sometimes you don't know how clear it is until it gets tested. And when I read it over too, I was a little confused on who was supposed to serve. And this is choosing people to be appointed to the different committees such as planning and zoning, EDA, charter. And what, I think what we're trying to say in here is that the EDA director, Jenny, and then myself, and then whoever is on that committee from the council would look over the applicants. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it was unclear last time. So if you're on the EDA, then you would be part of that. If you're on the charter, if you're on planning and zoning, then you would be involved in choosing that person. And I think that's basically all that has changed down there. And if that's okay, this is the first reading, correct? Or can we just
It's
amend it?
just amending it,
All
yeah.
right, we'll just amend it then. Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Julie,
Second.
seconded by Lyle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, hire part-time summer help.
Tom Schugert, Pete's son, is the only applicant we had. So I would like permission to hire him. I'd also like permission to keep the job open indefinitely until we have another candidate. Pete has shown interest in applying for the position. So, yeah, it'd be nice to have two people.
I'll entertain a motion to go ahead with the hire.
So moved.
Motion made by Dale,
Second?
seconded by Julie. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'll get a hold of him tomorrow
Good.
and let him know.
Capital improvement questionnaire.
In your packets, there's a questionnaire. This was sent out by Brian Petzel with INS regarding our comprehensive plan update. And he would like, this is going out to the city council, the planning commission, the EDA, any other groups we may feel would like it. They would like your opinion on ranking these, 1 through 13, on what you feel is most important to least important, so that we can go through these as a group and discuss what areas we should be focusing on as we go through our comp plan update.
Did we request that, or did he request that?
He did, she said.
He requested this on behalf of our comp plan update. So you don't need to take any action, I'd just like them returned before the end of May, so I can get them to him.
So every councilman should be,
Yep.
they have time to fill this out.
Which is probably a good idea, because there are some things that someone on the outside looking in will automatically see. But there might be things that we all
And
think
there-
need more
there-
attention than he might notice.
Right, and there will be a public portion of this coming up for the public to give input on the comp plan update also, but we're just going through and getting, the council and the planning commission's input first, so.
Good, so I
Well,
hope,
like it says like water, are you talking about water mains and everything with water, or just?
Yes, everything with
Whether we
water.
have a pond or not?
Facilities,
Oh, that I have no clue, but that's okay.
right.
Well, I mean, I don't know what shape some of that stuff is.
Yeah, and then they have water infrastructure, water facilities. wastewater infrastructure, stormwater infrastructure, Parks and Rec. I'll send out reminders.
All right. Thank you. WIDA presentation, moving in, moving out, moving over.
Yes, on, what day is it? May 23rd. The EDA is invited Ben Winchester to come back and give a presentation on, he kind of touched on this in his presentation to Winthrop Opportunities. So this is kind of elaborating on that presentation. It's about moving in, moving out, moving over, younger families moving into town, older people moving to more like patio homes where they don't have to mow the lawn and shovel the sidewalk. Yeah, Lyle, I see you out there mowing and shoveling. And people moving into their homes. So how do we prepare for the senior citizens who are going to be moving over essentially, people moving out, and younger, hopefully, families and moving back in, so.
And we don't want to lose the seniors, we have to figure out how do we retain as many seniors as we can.
We want you to stay, Lyle, okay? So anyway, I need to know by the 16th if you are planning on attending.
Sign me up.
Julie and Kelly.
If you haven't heard, it's interesting. What time is it? What?
5:30 is dinner, 6 o'clock is the presentation. Anyone else? Lyle, Pete?
When is this though?
May 23rd.
5:36.
It's a Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah,
Just email me so I don't read it, and then,
So you're just going to say you're coming and not show up like the
so I say
municipalities?
I didn't see it.
so,
Okay.
So you're both, put you both down, Pete and Lyle?
yeah, where are we gonna have?
It's at Hans.
23rd, you said?
Yep. There's a sheet in your packet.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'm sure you just looked over that.
Right here.
With all the other stuff.
Well, once I saw moving out, I didn't know if it was moving out of this
Moving you
world.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
5:30 to 6 social hours, 6 to 6:30 meal, 6:30 the speaker.
All right. Do we go to the closed session now, or can we do the reports?
Reports.
Finish up.
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
asked
that's-
that be put at the end. so-
Okay. City administrator report.
Oh, boy, it was a busy month. Okay. I attended the MMUA legislative session and briefly attended Broadband Day on the Hill, and I did send you guys out an email earlier about that. I attended a workshop put on by David Drown relating to TIF tax abatement and bond issues as tools for economic development. The street committee met with the residents of Brown Street earlier in the month, and they have come to a resolution for now. Mike Henderson is going to do some landscaping and try and prevent the water collection. Planning Commission has started the comprehensive plan update. They went over chapters 1 and 2, and then those questionnaires in your packet are part of that process. The municipalities meeting in Green Isle was the 19th. Phil Kython spoke about the medical school. I had an EDA lunch with Amy and Bobby Harder. We discussed the Business Expo, housing, childcare, and County Road 57. Dostal Electric has finished installing our new projector up there, and we only have one cable to plug into a laptop, no more overhead projector. So that's very nice. And the equipment is paid for by the Cable Commission. WIDA hosted Business After Hours along with JB Lures and B&R Dairy at Tanker Bay, and there were about 65 people there. The Pavilion Committee has met and discussed the materials Scott Keister has put together. He has probably most of the materials donated for the project, which is awesome. I sent in an application to Knife River for a grant, for an $8,000 grant. They meet in May to decide who they're giving money to. We may not get all 8,000, we may get some of it, we may get none of it. I've started working with RS Fiber on getting security cameras in the park. Once I get equipment, price, and list together, I'm going to ask the Cable Commission to pay for the equipment. I attended WIDA meetings on 4/11 and 4/27, Winthrop Opportunities on 4/11 and 4/25, and Shop Local on 4/10. Leading Sibley graduation was held last Thursday in Winthrop with tours at the Historical Society, the Drive-In, and Guycraft. The ceremony was held at Hans Dining and Lounge, and they had, how many did you have in your class? 22, I think it was.
Yep.
Tim Becker and Gary Krugel are coming to our June 4th council meeting to discuss the County Road 57 project. Tim has requested that if you have questions prior to the meeting, to please send them to me, so I can make sure he gets answers to everyone's questions. And Mayor Pearson would like to hold that as a public hearing at that meeting. We'll be sending out letters to the residents on that street, and we'll also be posting it in the paper, and so people get the word out that people have questions, they can come. And Karen and I are meeting next week to discuss nuisance and blight properties, so please let me know if there are any specific properties you'd like addressed. So, on to the EDA. What?
Couple things.
What? Okay.
Couple things. One, I was just up in Hutch, driving around, just accidentally, you know where they have that, behind, I think it's Hardee's,
Yes.
that park where all the ducks and everything? Did you ever see that pavilion that they built there way to the west end?
No.
It's not too bad. I just happened upon it. I know Scott's been really working, but I mean, this is.
He's
it's,
put in a lot of effort for that, yeah.
But, it looked pretty good. I mean, it looked like, not overly fancy and looked.
I think we did look.
We
at
had a
pictures
picture of it.
that one.
Is
Oh,
that
that
the
one
one we
over
got,
there in-
we got a picture of?
I
Okay.
think we had pictures, yeah, yeah. We spent a lot of time working on an acceptable design
And location.
and location, yes.
But, you know, I was just happened to drive through there the other day and I didn't even know there was a pavilion over there.
Yeah.
Talk about the
I
cameras.
had something else and I forgot.
You can ask me.
Oh,
later.
I know. Talking about cable commission. I had a new person who moved in here and wanted to know when the cable or MediaCom or whoever is gonna put public programs on the cable. Like, you know, like, say, a school basketball game or a school concert and,
Well, the school has to,
I mean, that was talked about, I remember.
Yes,
Getting this done and.
Yeah.
well, the
a
school has
New
to,
person who just
yeah.
moved in and wanted to know how come we don't have that on our, we don't have an access channel, she said, and I said, well,
I know they do have games on the Cube, I think, that you can watch, but they're not live feed. The school would have to provide people to run the cameras, you know, so they're,
that wasn't part of the cable or MediaCom's deal, I mean,
No, was it MediaCom or was it RS Fiber?
RS Fiber talked about that
Okay.
as a,
I think they had the ability to do
something that
a
would be
lot of that.
available.
I can ask them.
I
don't-
I
I-
don't think you'd want anybody from the school running it, I mean, I think it'd have to be a little more sophisticated than that.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Well, just some information on the access channels. I mean, if they're going to have some.
I know Wade does a good job getting stuff recorded and put on there for, you know,
But
he
this
does have.
person moved from Iowa and she said everything was on, you know. Yeah, they do it down there. How come we didn't? I would find out, so.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
You talk about the security cameras in the park. We were supposed to get 2 from the school. Are they in?
No,
No.
they never asked for that money either.
Yeah, they have, they've asked me.
Oh,
I mean,
they haven't
asked
asked
you, but
me.
they're not-
And I told them there's no cameras there, and they said, well, they got them pointed at the.
That wasn't the
Yeah, and
deal.
I thought, as far as I was concerned, pointing don't.
No.
help.
Asked and answered. Thank you.
Yes.
EDA report.
Okay. I spent 20 hours on EDA-related items this month. I'm setting up the meeting for the moving in, moving out, moving over. Invites have been sent out to 11 cities, EDAs, Sibley County Commissioners, members of the Sibley Housing Team, Winthrop Opportunities, and the Chamber, and Bob Fox from Renville County. And I finalized the meal with Tracy. Last meeting, the board asked me to research what other towns charge for lots in their industrial park. New Ulm was $1 a square foot. Gaylord has 1 lot, and they would be willing to give it away if the right opportunity presented itself. And Arlington has 22 acres, but no access to it, and prices are negotiable. I met with Shannon for about an hour on last Monday, to discuss economic development in Winthrop and what, if anything, can be done in the area. He said the best thing we can do is be prepared for something when it comes to town. We also discussed the industrial park, and he said that cold storage of any kind is not a very economical use of the land. We should be using that for manufacturing if and when the opportunity comes. It was a good conversation, and I learned a lot. Shannon is a great resource. Red Rooster is still interested in a loan for his cash registers. He's working on getting the final payoff amounts. I gave him a copy of the application, and he said he should be ready in a couple weeks. The EDA is hosting business after hours, but I already reported on that, so that's it.
I was also told data centers are not good.
Yeah.
I was told they
They don't have any
Use
many
a lot of
jobs.
electricity, but they don't have many jobs. Yeah.
Of course, if we get to sell the
Well, if
electricity.
Amazon wanted to move here, I'd say go.
I don't know.
Yes.
Don, is there anything for legal right now?
No, sir.
Okay, Water and Sewer Department.
All right, as you guys might have known, we have a water leak or break in the main by the county ditch by 8th Street again.
These are the two estimates that are in your packet.
I didn't see those.
They're on the table.
So,
Oh,
I got them, like, was it 4:48 on Friday?
Friday.
Well, that's a nice way to end.
Yeah, right?
Go ahead, bring us up to speed on this.
What it is right now, I guess in the last couple of years, you replaced it 2 times. Prior year, they fixed down there, once maybe the year before that, and again the year before that. It's basically, from what I understand, it's stainless steel pipe. 20-foot sections with mating flanges with bolts in there. And the bolts are what is rusting out. The bolts are rusting out, coming apart and leaking. Just by fixing this again, I think you're just gonna keep fixing and fixing every year. The bid is for replacing all with 8-inch PVC.
So this is right,
We have two different
not
bids
far
here.
from my house.
Runs
Yep.
back to
Field.
Jackson's, right?
So,
What's that?
Is it one,
One's
is this the one
for
that runs
sewer.
up to Jackson's, or just the one that runs south?
Okay, there's the water,
replace the
the water
force
main
main
and the force main for the sewer. That's why there's 2 different
Right,
bids.
right. But
Yes,
they,
and yep, so basically, they're both gonna start at the new piping behind, that runs behind Julie's house.
Okay.
That runs along the county ditch, tie in there,
Yep.
up to about the hill on the road by Dean's there.
okay,
Just in that peat bog
Yep.
where they keep
Yep.
rusting out. That's where the problems have been.
so that part wasn't replaced in the last
no.
No.
street
No,
project?
No.
No,
Okay.
That
I
was
thought
put,
they'd
that was
gone
put in,
forward.
what, 75, 78?
I
It's
think
not
that's
that
what
old.
they're, Joe said.
But they're having problems with galvanic corrosion.
Yeah,
eating
I
up
was there
dissimilar
when that
metals
last
and
leak
she's-
was, yeah.
What's it cost us every time we go in, 8, 10?
I have not seen those numbers, but yeah, it's,
It's around 10 every time they come in, so.
Are you going against the bank more, or
I think it
or
was
through
just,
the
it
field?
was just through the field again, right? Where they're, that was brought up this morning too, more towards the bank, but I don't know if you can connect that close up to the ditch up there.
I was just, I don't know if we need right-of-ways and things like that, if you move it,
Yeah, that was something, were you and Joe gonna talk to Bob about,
Yeah,
to
Yep.
see if we did move it, what would all be
I
involved
think it
with
would be
that?
better, but if you can't, you can't. I
Right.
mean, You know, then
Yeah, Gordy
going,
brought that up this morning, too.
slogging right through the middle of that field.
Which is the estimate that fixes the leak?
The third one.
The 33,670.
33,670, so that needs to get done.
from what I understand, that's the one that's gonna fix the whole thing, replace everything with PVC pipe.
And the other one for 28,800?
Was to replace the sewer main that is adjacent to it too. And I talked to Joe on the way up here, and that's basically the same piping. But it's 6-inch, 20-foot sections bolted together.
So it's two separate projects, though.
2 separate projects.
The first project is the one that we need to do first, that is for 33,670.
But as long as the contractor's in town doing the work,
Yeah, they could do them at the same time,
Yeah.
cheaper
They
if they did
run
them.
side by side,
yeah,
Right.
right?
yes,
So the mobilization is where they bring all the equipment down,
yep.
and they're gonna hit us for it twice? Or am I reading it wrong?
Yeah, it looks like it's.
Oh, it does look like it's twice, so.
Well, if
That's a
it's side by
reasonable
side, I
question.
don't know, it's like painting.
And that's
one
why I'm
side of the
asking,
house.
is it side by side?
We can ask on that if both projects are going on, then I would assume.
If it's the same
mobilization-
equipment, yeah.
I'll entertain a motion for the,
I have to ask a question.
Oh, go
before we
ahead.
any farther. Don, that's the line that serves me. Do I have to recuse myself?
No.
Okay, well, just want to make sure.
Actually, the water's shut off. You're
It's not,
getting-
Matt?
Nope,
Okay.
it's not. The only ones that are on that line right now
Just wanna make
are,
sure.
Sequence,
Okay,
and we have them temporary hooked up to Kevin next door.
okay.
So they're got
Taken care of.
piping running from their house.
Okay.
They're the only ones on that line.
Okay.
But when we shut that line off back there, Heartland Corn Products is down to basically using a quarter of water. They're kind of offline, and it was affecting something else too. But yeah, basically it's
Okay.
Okay.
from, usually it flows from the plant through there and right out to Heartland.
Right.
But now it's gotta come all the way up this way,
You know,
and it's not enough
Okay.
to get out there.
Not enough pressure?
Yep.
Now, if we went through the field, do we owe these guys loss of crop and all that stuff?
Not if we get it done soon.
Well, you aren't gonna get that done.
well, they ain't got the crop in yet.
They ain't gonna get it done before the crops go in, I tell you.
I don't think there's any crop there, because where it's at, it's kind of, there's a berm and a pond.
Oh, so it shouldn't
I
affect
think
them.
it's running right through there. The only thing would be access, because you dig up.
I think the only thing that we'd have loss of crop is if we don't fix the leak and it stays wet out there and they can't get out. So I will entertain a motion for the first one for 33,670 to repair the leaking pipe right now.
We don't really have an option, do we?
Where's the repair?
That'd be on that section you were saying,
Yep,
it's
basically from the county ditch up to Dean.
Conklin's.
Yep.
And the other one is for going all the way with it?
Nope, the other
No,
one is to
separate.
the sewer, the force main, which is
So-
constructed in the same way.
So how
Same
far
way.
is this line gonna go? From,
600 feet.
I know where you're connecting, where's it gonna end up?
Yeah, this is on the west side of the ditch.
Are we going to the highway, or how far are we going?
No, it's just connecting up to, there's a new force main and a new water main
On
on
8th
the
Street.
west side of the county ditch. It's going from the west side of the county ditch up to approximately Dean Conklin's.
On the south side of 8th Street,
Yep.
That isn't very far, is it?
650 feet.
That's what it says.
Yeah,
Be about right.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't look far, but go walk it.
That's about right.
It's pretty far.
I move we go ahead.
so motion made by Julie.
Well, I guess we have to fix it. I'll second.
A second by Lyle, and that is for the project for 33,670 to repair the leaking water main. Is there any further discussion?
I think if you're gonna rip it up twice, it's stupid.
I agree.
I think you should rip it up once and do both,
I agree.
you know?
I'll amend my motion that we do both.
So we
Well,
wanna-
well, no. What?
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, okay, you understand?
I think you do, yeah.
We need to do this in two projects.
You mean we don't have enough,
Separately.
we don't have enough money?
No,
Well, one's water and one's sewer.
Well, I mean, can't we say motion to me?
because we,
Water and the sewer?
it's two separate projects.
Understand, but I mean,
Okay, my motion stands as stated.
Okay, and then we'll come back and we'll touch on the other one. There's a motion made, still seconded by Lyle. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now, the second project. For 28,800, that would be to replace
same length almost,
the, yeah,
650 feet.
sewer bypass, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
So now I'll entertain a motion on this.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. We have a motion made. Pete, is there a second?
Second.
And there is a second. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion?
Other than that 750 that's on there twice.
Yeah, I have that on here to check out.
Okay, we'll check
mobilization
that out.
bill.
If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries.
I think if I had a job like that, I'd knock off $750.
Okay.
Maybe they
I
will.
think like you do.
Okay,
Might as well
Street Department, Gordy is not here. Electric, MMPA, meeting update, Pete?
Well, we had our meeting at the plant in Faribault this month. There's a lot of strategic planning going on as to whether to build or not to build, because loads are going down.
Yep.
And,
LEDs.
of course, we do have obligations to provide certain amounts of power and certain amount of renewable energy. But it sounds like we've got enough of wind, and they bought a big block of power from Manitoba Hydro that will take us for several years. So we're holding off on the building, actually.
Okay. Anything else there?
No. There'll be another, we'll have our annual meeting coming up soon. I can't remember where it's gonna be this year, though.
I don't either.
Maybe it'll be in
She
Winthrop.
just sent out to get addresses and stuff.
We all get invited to that one,
Yeah.
correct? I thought that was quite interesting, seeing that.
I'm gonna bring Melissa down to Faribault that day and so she can tour the facilities and see what it's all about.
Oh, well, one other thing, you know how they've been hauling these, people to, for education, like in, was it the fourth grade? The MMPA pays for the bus and lunches and everything to haul these kids. Well, now they're gonna have one for high school kids. Not all of them, but those who are in like that green energy class and stuff like that, they're gonna have that. We passed, couldn't believe it cost that much to haul kids and feed them. Boy, I guess it does, so.
Buses.
Maybe they get interested in that area. Okay, no fire chief, is there something? Yeah, the fire chief is here. Change caps.
Change half, yep.
This came in at 4:58 today?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Unless you have copies of also.
So, a week and a half ago, we went down to Brandon, South Dakota for a pre-construction meeting on the new pumper truck. It was basically went through 82 pages of the specs.
That sounds fun.
Yes, it was great fun. But there's a few things that we noticed that we would like to add, and that we missed, and that was missed during the initial discussion.
Those the items
Yeah, the
in
list.
parentheses?
Yep.
What was the total on that?
4198.
Yep.
And we did have a $9,000,
Fill the boot.
yeah.
4,188, or 199,
And we got 9,000 prepayment discount, so.
What's the township's gonna say when we split this up?
And what is, what's the reasoning? I mean, what are these things that you're looking for?
Some of them were just moving switches from like the cab to the control panel for ease of operation. Some were automatic, it's like an air draft system, so when we're drafting out of a drop tank, it automatically primes that draft, so it's ease of operation. There was another one in there for the chassis are made in Michigan. They didn't have heat ducts up to the front by the feet that we added on. We added on stuff like that, and just miscellaneous stuff like that. That's what the pages are.
4 pages of miscellaneous.
AM, FM, let's see.
Say, Troy,
Pete,
well, you got Winthrop Fire Department, that won't fly. It probably will have to be like Winthrop City and rural or something, we went through that one other time.
well, so this is a four-door truck. On the front, we have Winthrop Fire Department.
Yep.
On the back door, it says proudly serving the townships of Augsburg Transit.
Oh, I like that.
There we go.
There we go.
What's the add-on for
Boy,
that?
he's learned how
Yeah,
to,
what's the add-on for that?
We
Yep.
got, I can't remember how many, like, so much lettering, of 6-inch lettering, and this covered it.
Why is there an 8-track player on here?
No.
I'm done, I'm sorry.
Okay, so, you need a motion to
We need a
approve
motion
this?
to approve.
So moved.
Motion made by Dale. Seconded by Julie to go ahead with the improvements or the not upgrades, what would you call this? Change orders for a total of $4,198 total. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anybody from the ambulance here? Okay, Cable Commission, you had your report in there. Is there anything else you wanted?
Nope, Karen, you skipped Karen.
Oh, I'm sorry, Police Chief.
That's twice tonight.
I'm getting tired. It's been a long
Twice
day.
You've had a long day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jeez.
I didn't think she would notice.
Good evening. Real quick, last Thursday, we hosted the mock crash, our 5th. We do one every 5 years, and it was an absolute success. So a shout out to Officer Kenny Peterson, who coordinated that. And I have on Facebook a long list of agencies that we coordinated with who showed up. And I think it was great for not only the agencies to practice, but the students got really into it. So into it that I was worried there would be blowback, kids being traumatized, but that's what we want. We want a realistic scenario. Because prom was 3 days after, and Officer Peterson did attend prom as well, and there were no issues there. So we're very happy that it was a safe week. Ordinances. You will see that the ordinances are a bit high. 57, that is a combination of the officers. We started driving around and identifying blights, some new ones and some of the folks that we tend to speak to year after year. Also dog licenses. We do a letter in the city bill and then 2 Facebook posts, because to save on postage, we try to get as many folks as possible to comply. But several letters went out on that, so we're working hard to follow up on that and make sure there's compliance. So any, like Julie mentioned, any sort of collaboration, or if you'd like to meet regarding specific properties, I always welcome any sort of conversation we can have to work together. So training, recently the Minnesota Post Board passed a mandatory yearly in-service on implicit bias, mental illness, crisis training, and conflict management. And all of those things have been, the spotlight of national news with law enforcement. It is timely because we have been talking about putting less lethal shotgun in to our arms for 2019, which wouldn't cost very much because Officer Colford is already trained in what less lethal is, by the way, is it's a shotgun that's specifically designed in only less lethal rounds, which are hard plastic, rubber, excuse me, and they don't feel good, but they won't kill you. So to mitigate the threat, which I feel is timely with the things we're seeing in the news. And also no other agency in the county has it. So I think that's something that we can offer at a very low cost. And that's about all I have. I'd like to thank the council for sponsoring, or the city for sponsoring me on Leading Sibley Together. Give a shameless plug that no one asked me to give because it was that good. It was fantastic, and I'm really hoping that more folks in our community will come out no matter where they are in life, because I'm amazed at how much I learned. And it really did give me the push to get out of my comfort zone, and sometimes we need that push to
And I would echo that. It was fantastic.
So yeah, Mike, it was great. That in the paper. And that's all I have today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, I think we will close the meeting now.
I'll talk later.